Craftsman Days are here at Lowe's with big savings on the tools you need. Right now, get a free select tool when you buy the Craftsman V20 2-pack battery kit. Whether it's the backyard, the bathroom, or beyond, Craftsman has the tools to help you power through and get the project done right. Because DIYing is unpredictable, but your tools shouldn't be. Shop Craftsman at Lowe's today. Valid through 6/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me on this journey. We'd like to thank and acknowledge our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Sean McGuire, Yanis, LightBlindedFool, Green Man, Margaret, Big C, Bennett Williamson, Hannah Green, Noralia, Geof Searles, Erik Reed, Greysin Ishara, Ashlee Bradley, Helena Jacobsen, Matthew Mendoza, Cyndi, Daniel Moore, and Patrick Wallbankk. And before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome VJ Villuri and Sarah Smith to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thank you so much for your support and your generosity. We really, truly appreciate it and could not do this without you. In this episode, we're talking about Chapter 53 of Towers of Midnight.
Yeah, Chapter 53 is Gateways.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
Man.
We're going to the Tower of Genji.
Gateways. We make them. We can't make them.
It's crazy.
So many things.
Things happen, and there's like things that happen before the one thing that we definitely need to talk about.
That is very true, yeah.
We got to get through those two things before we can do the other thing.
And I was so mad.
Wow.
At first, like this, it fooled me.
Right, okay. Why?
As our daughter says, tricked ya.
Yeah, true.
Tricked me.
What did you get tricked by?
I thought we weren't going to get it.
Oh, yeah, like we're in there.
Yeah, no, I know. But not until like halfway through the chapter, so I didn't even know where we were going to go.
For sure.
And I was mad.
Okay, well,
I was like, another Perrin meeting? We really have to talk to Perrin again?
Yeah.
Off we go. And then I thought it was going to just like end or, you know? So I'm glad we got it though.
Okay.
Because then I didn't have to throw my book in the fireplace.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the exciting part is next episode we're doing 2 chapters and we will likely have a guest. I say likely because life may dictate what happens, but...
We certainly do have life going on.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. But you know what? We actually do have to get our shit together. It's a race to the end.
Right, yes.
Because in less than 3 weeks from today, we have scheduled our Dusty Wheel appearance.
According to what you told me, we actually scheduled it for the appropriate amount of time,
well,
he wanted to do it earlier.
3 days earlier.
Yeah, so which impacts my schedule.
Slightly.
Okay.
Slightly, but I think
we really have
good.
to...
It's good for us. We kind of need a little motivation now, I think. So.
Yeah, we work better on timelines and deadlines.
100%.
Yeah, and even that is questionable, so... And like better, not great, but like better.
We definitely work better.
Than no deadlines, yeah. Okay.
And who doesn't, really? Who goes through life being like, I don't need deadlines to get things done.
I just do what I'm supposed to do when I'm supposed to do it. Get the hell out of here. Okay, fun fact time. Here we go. I was actually going to do one fun fact for this, and I think some people might have a guess at what I was going to do, but I'm not going to do that for reasons. I'm going to push it back. And then I was looking at something else and got sidetracked, but I landed on an interesting Brandon Sanderson interview question that was posed to him. And it's all about Towers of Midnight. So here we go. From 2010, it was a question posed to him that says, why is this book named Towers of Midnight when the only time those are mentioned are during the first chapter when the wind blows past them and also a mention in the glossary? I'm assuming they're going to be important in the next book. I think most people think these towers were the Tower of Genji, so why the little twist in the title? So... Yeah, and we're here at the Tower of Genji, so I figured it was an appropriate place to do this.
Right. Okay,
now,
what was the answer?
Sanderson's answer was, most of Robert Jordan's titles had twists. There's some that were very straightforward, like The Dragon Reborn, The Great Hunt. There were others that were simply things like Knife of Dreams, which comes from a line and a quote at the beginning of the book. The titles usually refer to something specific as well as something metaphorical. Towers of Midnight is the title I chose. There, of course, are the Towers of Midnight in Shanshan.
Yeah.
And if you knew what those were for and why they were there, it would illuminate the question a little bit more. But the title also refers to the towers that Egwene saw, because she had a dream, if you remember.
Okay.
Anyways.
I don't.
Okay. My working title for this book was The Three Towers, as a pun on the title of the second book of The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Two Towers.
That probably wouldn't have gone over that well.
So he goes on to say, I was writing the second book of the trilogy of sorts here, because he did the three, and was dealing with the Tower of Genji, the White Tower, and the Black Tower, ... I'm not going to read the entire answer here. But when I was working on it, we had a lot of focus on those three towers. So the name just struck me. It felt like the right thing to do. So
that's like the secret
little
fan
homage.
name.
The Three Towers.
The Three Towers.
And it's appropriate that we have a Lord of the Rings reference because we have a gift.
Oh, that was your reference?
That's the segue. That's the reference. That's the segue.
Okay,
because we have shots to do.
That's pretty good. Yeah, we got a gift of shot glasses.
Yes.
That was sent to us from some lovely, lovely people, along with a note that says, my daughter and I have been listening to this podcast pretty much since the beginning, and they love it. They live in Georgia and Texas, but they went on a trip to Massachusetts and visited the Salem Witch Trials Museum.
Yeah.
And so we got some shot glasses from the Salem Witch Trials Museum.
And it all links together because we're basically going to go save a witch. It's Moraine, right? We got to go save her.
Yeah, so we got some shot glasses from Lindsay and Lisa.
Right
on. So
on.
that's awesome. I'm so excited. I haven't even actually opened them up yet to look.
What an episode to have your shot glasses on.
Okay, here's one for you.
Lovely. Ooh, the witch with the broom and the cat shadow.
Oh, mine too, except mine's purple.
I love it. They're witch colors.
Oh, Halloween.
Purple and orange. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay. Should probably rinse them out.
Just give it a... It'll be fine.
Okay. I'll give it a wash and then we can
Okay.
have shots out of them. Okay. Okay, I like how this worked out because I wanted the purple one.
Yeah.
I like it better.
And this is the very last of the bubblegum vodka.
Wow.
The tail end remnants of the bottle.
Much like most of the, quote, witches from the Salem witch trials.
What?
It was the end for them, too.
Oh, my goodness.
Well.
Yeah, okay.
Let's be real. Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. Hopefully we have a witch coming back.
Cheers to maybe saving Moraine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cheers.
It is so not bubblegummy anymore.
I'm so glad that that's it.
Yeah.
That was so long ago that we bought that case.
Oh, yeah. Way too long ago.
Oh.
And then we savored it for so long.
Too long. Much, much, much too long.
Savored it? Oh, my goodness.
Ooh.
The fin, right?
How about that?
Am
okay.
I right? Okay.
I actually liked your fun fact today.
All right.
Yeah.
How about that?
All right. So since you have lost quite a bit of your digital notes...
Mm-hmm. I've started to rebuild the database.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, I went back to my good old...
Phew. Good thing
my
we
good
have that
old notebook.
This is why you do everything on paper, people.
Except I did almost lose... I didn't know where it was.
Yeah, it's true.
I was like...
Right.
But once I found it...
Yes.
It's all here.
Filled to the brim with very extensive notes.
It's got some notes in it.
You've written some words.
I've put some stuff in here. Guess what? I knew who Pavara was, and Javindra, and Tarna.
Wow, that's actually pretty
based on some notes I wrote actually in Crossroads of Twilight.
Wow, let's see.
That's
if they're
how long
accurate.
ago. And maybe you'll let me know because I'm gonna need some timeline stuff.
Sure.
Because I'm confused about because there's two different groups that went to the tower.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need some help. I think.
Sure.
Okay, so we're starting off chapter 53, Gateways, with the symbol of our wheel and snake. Here we go.
Yep.
We're in Pavara's perspective.
Okay.
And now correct me if I get anything wrong.
Sure.
I'm pretty confident.
Okay, go.
Pavara is a red.
Yes, that's right.
From the White Tower.
Yeah.
And
like
was,
not the rebels.
And
yeah.
was an original sitter.
Yeah.
OG sitter for the Reds in the White Tower and did not rebel, obviously, because she's a red. But
yeah. Do you have anything else to add to that? Like
she went to the White Tower.
Who she is? in the year
It wasn't.
something.
It wasn't in my notes. So now
something. Why did she become a red, if you will?
Oh, is this the one whose family was killed by Dark Friends?
Yeah. So generally, we like Pavara. She seems pretty cool, in my opinion, anyways. Yeah. But her entire family was murdered by Dark Friends, so she's got like a thing. Like, she's not a hating on everybody type of red. She's even actually, I think, at some point, like, brought up that she wants a warder.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, but obviously reds aren't cool with that.
And then she went to the... What's the name of the head of the reds?
The highest.
The highest. Mm-hmm. To concoct this plan
about
how we should go and bond Ashman.
Yes. Yeah, and it wasn't originally her idea.
Someone came to her with it?
Yeah, I think it was Tarna, actually. But anyways, the also she's part of the Black Aja Hunters because her and Ciane was approached by Elida to try to sniff out people who were conspiring against her. We think Elida wasn't intentionally trying to set up like a Black Aja Hunters.
Pavara was part of the Black Aja Hunters?
Yeah, she was approached by
that
Ciane.
should definitely be in my notes. Hold on here.
Yeah, she's
yeah, that's what Allie dressed up as. Allie was Pavara.
Yeah.
When I was Yukiri.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, she was a part of that.
Huh. See, I'm flipping through my notes now.
And then it became a whole let's bond Ashman, and then a bunch of the reds went to the Black Tower.
Because only reds could handle such a job. Maybe I don't have things about the Black Aja Hunters in here. I should.
I thought you had a different notebook too. You might have two books.
Nuh-uh.
Anyways, that's
this one.
That's good for Pavara. So that's who Pavara is.
Okay.
So we generally like her.
I'm gonna casually keep flipping through here.
Sure.
You keep talking.
That's it. That's all I want to talk about Pavara.
Okay. Good then.
Okay. What about Javindra? Because Pavara's walking with Javindra and Taim through the Black Tower right now.
Did Pavara get bonded by Logain? Like forced bonded? Was she the one who that happened to? No,
that wasn't her. That was Tolvain and Gabriel, and those are the ones from the group that were sent of like 50 that were sent to
the rebel mission.
No, they were the ones who were sent to destroy the Black Tower originally. That went poorly.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then later on, the tower sent the emissaries to bond Ashman. There's only like 6 of them here, and then the rebels also sent. Because Rand, they also sent to bond.
So then, under my Javindra note, I have Logain's stuff.
Okay.
I thought she was the one who was having sex with him.
No, that wasn't her. So the Javindra Logain stuff, so way back in Saladar, when Swan and Logain were coming up with the rumors to try to discredit the Reds, that they were propping up Logain. Okay. They were implicating a few different Reds, and Javindra was one of them, I believe. So.
That has okay.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with any of that.
That was an interesting thing for me to write down. I didn't write down so many other important things.
Yeah, because also Javindra is part of the original Swan takedown. So. Yeah, maybe there was some back and forth there. And we don't even know how true the rumors that Swan came up, hooked up with Logain were, so...
Right, because we knew she could lie. Okay, so Javindra and Pavara are here with Taim. And at some point here, we find out that there's a group of other sisters outside the gates.
Yes.
So for timeline here... That group hasn't been brought in yet.
No, and it seems like it's been weeks because there is a part where Lieutenant Taim's and they've been out there for a while or something.
Yeah.
They have been waiting outside for a while.
And Pavara or someone was good, leave them there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't even, timeline-wise, it is a little bit messy, so it doesn't even seem like they have any idea of what's happening at the White Tower. Because also, timeline's a little bit wonky, but it's been a while. And they're all just sitting outside the Black Tower. It's not good for any of these groups.
Okay, and then at the end of a book that I read...
Okay.
that I can't...
Oh, man, okay.
I can't remember which one.
Testing me here.
Those women waiting outside got to go in, and that's when we saw the black and red room with Taim.
That were these ones.
And the evil laughing.
That was these ones.
That was Pavara and Javindra?
That was these ones, yeah. Because they got let in. And then Taim, that's when Taim said, let the Lord of Chaos rule.
Yes, yeah. That was Pavara and Javindra.
Because the whole thing is they want to bond Ashman. Taim is saying, no, you can only bond soldiers and dedicated.
Yeah.
But they want to stick it out and wait as long as possible to try to make Taim cave to bond full Ashman. So it's literally just been a waiting game of who's going to stick it out. And that's kind of what we see in this perspective is Pavar is pretty much done with this. She's like, let's just bond a couple of lower ones.
Let's just get out.
Let's get the heck out of here because things have gone poorly.
Right.
And it's dangerous and we should leave.
Okay. That's kind of like our overview. Do you want to get into like some details?
Yeah, so a couple things that are happening here. So ToM is doing like a walkthrough with them of the Black Tower right now, and he's literally pointing out all the reasons why this place is now super secure. So there's guard posts along the walls, and they're all manned by Ashaman now. Okay. And that wasn't something that had happened like as of yesterday, but now today there's a ton of guards, and ToM is super casually saying, "Oh well, if you ever want to leave, you have to ask permission."
Oh, yeah, now they're stuck there. Yeah.
Yeah, and now he's phrasing it kind of like, oh, it's just for safety, but obviously not for safety. They're captives. They're not allowed to leave.
Yeah.
And Pavara understands
Javindra
that.
doesn't seem to care.
No, because there's also the dumb Aes Sedai hierarchy stuff. Pavara's in charge of this mission, but Javindra is pushing back on Pavara's leadership, which she shouldn't be doing, but she is. And there's a little bit of back and forth that just seems like typical Aes Sedai, butting heads.
Okay.
But it's not great, because if we're going to leave, we should leave.
Okay, and then we also get a point about how Pavara and Javindra's group has been here for weeks. They've been
so maybe
here for
it's
a
like
long
they've
time.
been in here for weeks, and then the other group showed up. I assume everybody's just kind of been waiting here.
Okay.
So again, it's
because
it's not
have
great.
a memory of them waiting for a while outside of the gates.
Yeah, it wasn't like these 6 when
okay.
No. That wasn't as long. It was like a little bit, but it wasn't very long because then they got let in.
It was too long for them. They were really impatient.
Well,
I remember it feeling long.
It was probably like half an hour.
Yeah, they were mad. They were like,
minutes.
let us in.
Right.
And then ToM's like, not by the hair on my chinny chin chin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Pavara's whole deal right now is there's only 6 of us and there's hundreds of men who can channel, and our mission wasn't to like destroy the Black Tower.
Yeah.
That wasn't our job because that didn't work the last time. We should just do what we can and get out of here.
So are Tovann and Gabrel still here, technically?
Allegedly. We don't really know where anybody is.
Mm-hmm.
Tovann and Gabrel were with Logain, though.
Yes.
So, and Logain kind of escaped.
Logain's not here.
Right now. But and again...
Where is Logain? He's never here today.
We don't know. He's right now, we don't exactly know his exact whereabouts. But he's missing from here, and he's not... we've seen him a long time ago at this point. Mm-hmm. The one thing we kind of have to keep in mind, too, the Black Tower is not like this small little place where you're just going to see everybody in the same village center. Like, they're in the village part of the Black Tower. Like, Tar Valon is a city.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and same here. Like, you can have all these Aes Sedai
spread out a little.
And kept apart from each other and not even really know what's happening or where anybody is. Like, this is a huge compound. So nobody knows what's happening in all the different parts. Because even in the Black Tower, like, we clearly have, like, some ToM faction guys.
Oh, definitely.
And we've got some Logain faction guys.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got, like, the Two Rivers guys who are the good guys, kind of, sort of, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all very loose and messy right now.
Okay.
No, nothing's really firm, and that just adds to the chaos of it all.
So after this walk and talk with ToM, who still is definitely evil and definitely on my suspicious radar.
Definitely. Okay.
That guy sucks.
Okay.
Pavara and Javindra are alone.
Right.
A little time after, and Pavara's like, listen, I think we need to just leave.
Yeah. Let's call it quits. We did what we came here to do. We got some information. And this is Javindra being a subordinate little butthead.
No.
Yeah.
I've learned lots.
Yeah, maybe you haven't learned anything, but I've learned lots of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she also says, oh, I think ToM's for sure going to give in and let us spawn full Ashaman at some point.
I don't know. It's kind of seeming like Javindra might be a dark friend.
Okay, so is she on...
She might be Black Aja.
Like, we don't have anything that's, like, pointed to that yet from her.
And I mean, okay, this...
Right.
Is the evidence.
This could be a thing.
This is it, because I don't know anything about her from before.
Write her name down.
Except...
Get her in there.
that what Swan said about her before...
Yeah.
Implicating her in the whole false dragon...
Sure. And that could
rhetoric.
Just be her being a normal Red Aja butthead.
Maybe.
That's the problem.
It also... could be because she's Black Aja.
Yeah,
and then
both.
She showed up here and is like, oh shit, I like all the dark friends that are here.
Yeah.
And it's not little hearts where I don't know anybody. Maybe she like knows all of them.
Yeah.
Because she's pushing back pretty hard on Pavara.
She is pushing back pretty hard, and
it
then
makes
she also
me suspicious.
and
I'm
that's
trusting
fair.
my gut on this one.
That's totally fair, because she also says, well, you can leave and I'm sure the other people will listen to you, but I'm still gonna stay. And that shouldn't be something she says, because Pavara is in charge of this little mission.
I mean, she can be a butthead and
Yeah.
be like, I don't think
But
we
you're
should.
not supposed to openly disobey your chain of command here. That's especially with Aes Sedai. They're all about chain of command stuff. Okay, Javindra's not too worried because they still have gateways. Because even if they're not allowed to leave, they can still gateway out of here.
Okay.
They're not supposed to unless things are like super serious, because they don't want to explain that they have those weaves. They don't want people to know that.
Yeah.
Right? So she thinks they have that as a panic button, which at the end of this perspective, we're going to find out.
Doesn't work. Panic button is faulty.
Yep, doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. All right. So after Javindra's done being a very negative Nelly,
Right.
actually, is Pavara being the negative one?
No, she's being sensible.
I think she's being negative, though. And Javindra's like, look on the bright side.
Okay, I guess so, if you're going to defend Javindra's opinion.
Maybe.
Yeah. Like, I'm with Pavara.
I'm just
There's so many red
I'm
flags
just trying
here.
to figure out what to call her.
Right.
Because I don't think negative Nelly fits here.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. A jaded Javindra. No.
Oh, that's just her name.
Yeah.
No, it has to be a nickname.
Jaded, I said.
I know, Javindra, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's just her name.
Right, that's not how you do That's not how you do that.
Like, I can't just call you a bossy Brett.
Well, you can.
Yeah, I know. It would be funnier to call you a bossy Bob. Yeah. You know?
Okay, let's get back to it here.
Okay.
Okay, Javindra's gone. Pavara's walking away. She makes her mind, and she's like, we gotta go. It's time to go. But then...
Insubordinate Eileen.
Yeah, you're really thinking on these
Okay,
things.
now your turn. Go.
Yeah. Okay, but she does want to leave, but she thinks to herself, I need to give it one more attempt to convince Javindra to come with us because I can't leave a sister behind. So she's going to use her relationship with Tarna to convince Javindra to come. So she's going to go talk to Tarna and get her on her side. That's the plan here.
Because just last night,
Yeah.
Tarna agreed with Pavara that it is time to go.
So if we get Tarna and Pavara to go talk to Javindra, maybe we can... Like, there's only 6 of them. We can all work together to convince her to leave.
Want to do a recap on who Tarna is?
Yeah, so Tarna is the one who got sent to Saladar as the emissary, and then spent her entire ride back not knowing that traveling in gateways existed.
Yeah, it's the best.
And then, like, got back and got stuck in Cheesetown with... If you remember Cheesetown
with
outside.
Gawain?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the Aes Sedai who had escaped do Mice Wells, and she was like, man, this sucks here. And then she got replaced by Katarina, and Katarina was Dark Friend, obviously. And then they all stuck back in the tower, and then Tarna got made keeper when Alviarin didn't show up to work.
Elida's keeper, but she's still under the impression that she's the keeper.
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't there for the Shanshan attack, and then Elida... not there anymore.
Right.
Taken away.
Mm-hmm.
Egwene is now Amerlin with a new keeper.
Right.
Who's not Tarna.
Yeah, and I mean, I assume that they don't know anything about,
I
like,
would
the
assume
rebellion.
they don't know anything.
Exactly. So that's Tarna. Mm-hmm. And Tarna last night...
Well, they know some things about the rebellion, but not about them coming back to the tower. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like,
Okay.
they know about the rebels, but not that the rebels won.
No. Oh, yeah, they don't know that.
No. Like, for sure, they can't possibly know that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so anyways, last night Tarna was like, yeah, let's leave. And then tonight, when Pavara comes in to talk to Tarna, she's, like, hunched over her desk working and writing or whatever. And then Pavara breaks the news that ToM has locked down the Black Tower and we need his permission to leave. And Tarna brushes it off and is like, it's probably nothing. And Pavara's a little bit shocked.
Black Aja.
But then Tarna looks up, and it seems like something's wrong with her eyes, man.
Oh, compulsion.
Whoa.
That's what I thought while I was reading this. I remember now.
Yeah, so
I
like
actually do think compulsion.
there's something going on here because it's like almost lifelessness in Tarna's eyes, and then I think the description is like the smile of the lips on a corpse. So
Which
it's like
is, like,
pretty
the grossest thing.
I know.
Like, what a disgusting metaphor.
Well, I mean, maybe
or I
your
guess
face
that's a
is
simile.
maybe your face is pretty gross right now. I don't know, but it's like something creepy's going on. She has flipped a switch, and she's like, "No, let's stay. This is a good idea." And then goes back to writing. And Pavara, being a fast thinker, she doesn't argue. She's like, "Maybe that's sure." Okay, I gotta go. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
And she hightails it out of here.
Tries to make a gateway.
Yeah,
It's
she goes and like finds a
out.
little,
I'm
and she's like, I'm
going.
leaving right now
Yeah.
by myself. Like, I'm out of here. And then, boom, gateway doesn't work because
Probably Dream Spike.
probably Dream Spike. Yeah.
Okay, so after all of that, after our discussion,
Right.
I've decided Javindra, Black Aja,
Okay.
Tarna, Compelled.
Compelled. Okay, so now like, Dunzo for Tarna.
Yeah, but then why wouldn't Pavara also have been compelled?
Well, it takes time probably to compel 6 Aes Sedai.
I bet not if you're working with a Forsaken who can
I mean,
compel.
maybe, but like this was literally like between last night and today. Like not a lot of time has
So maybe Pavara's
passed.
like next.
If the goal is to compel all the good guy Aes Sedai, we should be worried about Pavara probably.
Because it could have just done them, 2 at once.
Yeah, Varen had like a whole lineup of people coming in. She was like,
same with Mogedion.
yeah, come on, let's
with
do the next.
Nynaeve and Elaine.
Do the next one. Come on.
All together.
Yeah, not everyone's as talented at compulsion. So like, there's reasons why it wouldn't happen instantaneously. But like you said,
Instantaneously on the line.
yeah. So, but if this happened last night, and you are correct, like if there is an order of operations here, we should be worried about Pavara. Pavara should be worried about Pavara at this point.
Well, she is.
She is.
She has really good self-preservation.
Well, medium, because she should have left like, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, friggin' yesterday.
Sometimes you don't know something's up until all of a sudden something's up.
True. Okay, I won't
But
blame
yeah,
her.
and you probably shouldn't have gone in the first place. Like, that's
Right.
bad self-preservation.
Yeah, shouldn't have chosen red in the first place either. Like, what are you thinking?
Well, she's like, I hate those dark friends, and I'm gonna help
Bunch of
get them
bad decisions.
by
So
killing men who can channel.
exactly. So that's it. That's the end of that perspective. And now she knows that they're all trapped here.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I have a hard time feeling bad for them at all.
Okay. Yeah. Uh-oh. Good thing there's a whole bunch of new Aes Sedai just outside the gates, and then maybe they'll be let in soon.
Yeah, reap what you sow. I don't know. I
Okay.
have a bunch of wild oats to sow. Okay, let's take a quick break
Okay.
and then get into the next phase.
Perrin. Yeah.
It's kind of like the next phase.
Sure.
Because we're leaving these ladies and the Black Tower completely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
now's the time.
Okay.
If you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on, Grainger understands that you go to great lengths and sometimes heights to ensure the power is always flowing, which is why you can count on Grainger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so you have everything you need to get the job done. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Okay, so we're back and we're going to perspective change to Perrin.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying goodbye and good luck to Matt, ToM, and Noel because they're all geared up to go to the Tower of Genjai tomorrow or today.
Like right now.
They're going right now.
Right now. They're
and I was
making
like,
a gateway.
oh, good. They're going right now. And at first I didn't even realize it was Perrin's perspective.
Oh, and then you're stuck with Perrin. You're like, come
I was
on.
like, no.
No.
This was the frustrating
Yeah,
part
let me go
for
with,
me.
no, don't
where I
leave
was
me
like,
with Perrin.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So I'm right?
Wait, I didn't go through the gateway with them?
I didn't go.
You didn't go?
I was so mad.
Yeah,
I
for
was,
sure.
like, actually angry. I
And
was
it's funny because
talking
then,
out loud.
and then Perrin gets like a flash of the colors of Matt walking alongside the river.
I
It's
know,
like,
and I
get
was
that
like,
away from me.
"Shut up, no, like as if
Yeah.
we're making this drag on this long.
Yeah.
So
pretty funny.
So
pretty
I'm
funny.
glad that there is like a part 2 to this chapter.
Right.
That's what it kind of felt like.
Part 3? Part 2.
Part 3.
Okay.
Actually, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, there is like another act
Yeah.
after this, but it fooled me.
Right. Okay, we do have also Perrin, like, there's a little bit of banter before they all take off. Perrin's like, sure, you don't want more people. Matt's like, no, can only be the 3 of us, yada, yada, yada. And this is actually a fun little real-world inspiration, little credit here, because as Perrin is saying goodbye, he says, hey, I'm expecting another helpful of ToM's Tabak pouch at Master Denizal's place when you're back.
Okay.
And Master Denizal is a character that's based on our friend Jason Denzel, the creator of Dragonmount.
Oh.
Yeah, so he got a nice little reference in the books.
Oh, that's nice.
So he is inside. So, and shameless plug, go buy his books.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
Mystic.
Mystic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mystic Trilogy.
The Mystic Trilogy, yeah. We actually had him on. There's one of the previous episodes. He comes on and talks about it when he released them.
Yeah.
Like, I guess years ago? I don't even know now.
I
So long ago.
want to say somewhere...
Between 1 and 7 years ago.
It was definitely before the cleansing. So it was like book 8 or 9.
Okay.
Because we told him, or maybe it was right after that. Maybe.
Well, now you're just guessing.
Now I'm just guessing.
It could have been before or after the cleansing. One of those two.
I remember talking about our bet.
Right. Yeah. So before. It had to be before, right? Or maybe after.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's in the books. He made it in there. It's great.
Good.
And it sounds like, I don't know, he's maybe an innkeeper
Well, his name's
or something.
in the dedication, too.
Yeah. That too. Well, that's medium cool. Being in I think being a character in the book is better than being in the dedication.
Well,
just
you got both.
Personal opinion here.
Okay, so Perrin and Matt are having their back and forth about saying goodbye and I'm not a noble banter, and then basically it's time to go.
Yeah, Grady opens up a gateway. They're going to open one each day at noon in the exact same spot so that once they're done, they can come back here.
Right.
So hopefully that goes... Like, Matt's whole thing is that, it's only going to take a couple of days, 1 or 2 days max, and we don't really know.
I think he's right.
Yeah, 1 or 2 days max? Yeah. Okay, cool, no worries.
We got no time to waste.
He didn't even bring a lot of gear because, I'm not standing there for a long time.
And we got his luck, because the one thing that Brigida didn't have was Matt's luck.
Yes, okay.
But anyway, there's a gateway, Matt, Tom, and Noel leave, and then the gateway closes,
and then
I go,
we're still here with Perrin.
Man, what?
Yeah. Now, this one's actually kind of interesting. So, Perrin is thinking to himself now about Moiraine.
Oh, I actually agree with Perrin on this
100%. 100% great idea.
100%. I thought, yes, Perrin, good job, actually.
Okay, so what he did, that was a good job. He thought about sending word to Rand about the potential of Moiraine being rescued.
Yeah.
And was like, no, I'm not going to say anything until we know she's for sure alive.
Right.
Otherwise, that would be cruel.
And very distracting and disruptive to all the plans.
To, Matt's plans, and then probably Rand would maybe try to get involved somehow.
Exactly.
Ruin things.
100% Rand.
Do not.
100% Rand.
Yeah.
Would abandon everything he has going.
At the potential of saving Moiraine
and
somehow.
Go
yeah.
to mess things up.
Yeah.
For Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and then as Perrin's thinking about Rand, he gets a swirl of color. Rand is with the Borderlanders.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. But no time for that now. But that's a timestamp because we just saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not a lot of stuff. Big things are really happening right now. So Fael comes up. We've got a whole organization to march and everything. And then once we're all ready, there's an hour later kind of situation.
1 hour later.
1 hour later, Grady and Niold link up with the Aes Sedai and the Wise One who can channel. And then
they make a huge gateway.
Yeah, big old one. To the Field of Marilor, which is the big meeting place that Rand said. So, this is happening right now. We are going to the meeting.
This is for the Rand meeting, right?
Yes, yeah. The big thing that happens right before he's going to go to Shale Ghul. Yeah.
Supposedly.
Allegedly, yeah. So we've got Egwene's coalition here. We see flags from Tyr, Ilian, Kyrian. We got Aiel. We don't have Borderlanders yet, but it does seem like Rand is likely going to be bringing the Borderlanders because that was kind of his whole last speech that we saw him do. So we've got the factions of Egwene, who doesn't want Rand to break the seals.
Yeah.
And then we've got Rand, who wants to break the seals. And the worst thing that could happen is we all get in a big giant battle before the last battle.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, because it's a concern.
I would say from the nobles we've heard of,
right?
They definitely don't want Rand to do this, and they probably agree with Egwene that this shouldn't happen.
Sure. Well, it sounds scary.
However,
yeah,
are they really going to take action?
Yeah, what are you gonna do
against the Dragon Reborn?
Yeah, what are you gonna do
at this point?
You could voice your opinion, I guess.
I think that's what'll happen.
Yeah.
And now Egwene has taken the oaths, so she can't just start blasting at Rand.
Sure. I mean, okay, it's depending.
Can she?
It depends on your perspective of the oaths. If you think that it's in the defense of your life that the Dragon Reborn is going to break the seals on the Dark One's prison,
that's a big.
I feel like you could work
stretch.
around. It's not that big of a stretch.
Feels like a stretch.
If you're like, hey, I'm going to release the devil from hell, I'd be like, whoa, maybe don't do that. Right? That's the
But I'd
the
have
concept
a hard
here.
time convincing myself.
Sure.
Of the imminent danger.
Do you think Egwene?
To me,
you think
to
Egwene
myself.
has a hard time convincing herself of anything she doesn't want to be convinced of?
No.
Yeah,
well,
she
me
can do
neither,
it.
actually. But
if she wants to start blasting, she's gonna start blasting.
But unless they'll stop her.
No, I heard him say he's gonna attack me.
No, okay.
Okay. It's fine. Okay, so
Anyway, so there's lots of people here, but Rand isn't.
yes, not yet, because he is with the Borderlanders right
We
now.
just saw the swirl.
Actively.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Fail is like, hey, Perrin, do you think this is gonna be enough to help us stop Rand from breaking the seals? And Perrin's like, what do you mean help us? Like, I'm on his side. It makes sense.
And I out loud went, yes, Perrin. Like,
He's the blacksmith. He gets it. She
didn't
even uses the blacksmith metaphor.
I didn't even know
Yeah.
that Perrin and I were on the same side.
Same side. Yeah. Makes
How
sense.
about that?
He's like, you don't just make a crap sword out of crap. You got to remake the whole thing.
Yeah.
Start
I would
over.
never make a crap sword out of crap.
You make it out of good stuff, fresh.
Yeah.
Fresh over.
Fresh stuff.
And then that's a little bit of a shocker because File was like, I thought you said that we were coming here because of what Egwene said and asked. And he's like, well,
we are.
We are because of what she said, but like not because I'm siding with her. So
yeah, good.
Yeah.
And like freaking good.
Yeah.
Perrin? I'm a Perrin fan today.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
First for everything, I think.
Yeah. Go Perrin.
Tyler's not even here for it. Oh my. Okay.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You let him know.
Yeah.
You let him know I said that.
Well, I'll tell him.
Because not telling Rand about the map plan.
Yeah.
And siding with Rand on the breaking the seals.
2 good decisions in one day.
Great.
Perrin is on a roll. He never makes good decisions.
Call him Paw Patrol.
Okay. All right. So now we have Perrin giving a super inspirational speech. He says, Rand sent us away to search for an enemy.
Wait, to everybody he's speaking?
Yep.
He does a whole speech to everybody. Okay.
Well, a whole speech is, Rand sent us away to search for an enemy. We returned to him having found allies. Onward to the last battle. And then they all marched through the gateway to the field of Marilor.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah.
I was a little bit sarcastic about the big inspirational speech. He's not that kind of guy. But then we have 2 pages of description of armies marching through the gateway. Okay. And the order. We got the Wolf Guards. We got the White Cloaks, if you remember.
Many.
We got Barrelane, who just keeps managing to find herself right beside Galad.
And so weird.
And the White Cloaks. Wait,
it is so weird.
I don't understand what's happening.
Because Perrin didn't even
right.
set up the White Cloaks and the Mayanners to be near each other.
And then they are. What's happening?
It's so strange.
Crazy.
I don't understand this at all.
Yeah. And then Alejandro rides past Perrin and is like, hey, man, how about you get on a horse? Because it looks more like you're a leader if you're on a horse.
Nah, man. Trust my own
feet.
feet.
He says, no.
What are you, Aiel?
He's a wolf.
Oh, yeah, also that.
Yeah.
Because Aiel also don't like horses and they'll run on their own feet.
Yeah.
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 Loyal, too.
Well,
lots of people don't like getting on horses and...
Loyal's huge. He would crush a normal horse. He had to ride a special.
Big ones.
He had to ride a special horse.
Clydesdales.
A big style one.
Big guy.
Big guy.
Anyway, Perrin also.
Yeah.
Gonna walk.
Yeah, okay, so let's do a little bit of cleanup here on what's actually happening.
Okay.
So we are in the middle of actively recruiting still. So Mayenne is already recruiting more people for the last battle. Tam is working on getting everybody, like all the extras from around Two Rivers.
I like the mention of Tam, because it's like, oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, he's still doing stuff. And then we also have to send back some recruiters to Johanna because we need everybody. Everybody we can to be here because it's the last battle. We need all hands on deck here. And then we have like the last little lead off for this perspective is Perrin giving orders, and then there's some of the Two Rivers men who come up to him and then apologize for the stuff they said about the whole him and Barrelane thing. So it seems like the world is righting itself. They're like, hey man, sorry about, us talking and stuff. One of these guys is a friggin' conger. Terrible.
Oh, that you mean.
But then he's like, sorry.
I was lost. I was like, who's writing themselves about what? Now I know.
The Two Rivers,
I remember
some
this
of the
now.
Butthead Two Rivers guys who were like maybe talking smack.
Sorry that I said
Sorry we said that. We totally want to.
Sorry we said you had sex with a super hot chick even though you're married.
It's not cool.
Not cool.
And we'll follow you in the last battle. So let's do this thing.
We were wrong. And it's not that they're like, we were wrong because you denied it.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Now we know we were wrong because Barrelane and Fail said it's not right.
Right.
But we didn't believe Perrin.
Right.
So sorry about that.
Yeah, you got it. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Last battle, here we come. Like, this is happening.
Okay, come quickly, Rand.
Come on. We got to do this thing.
That's what she said.
Nice.
Okay, let's perspective change to Matt on that note.
Do you need a top up here?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, let's
go. Let's
roll. All right.
Let's roll right into this because I was not expecting it. I really wasn't expecting this perspective change.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to ride out the rest of the chapter in this dumb field of Marilor having all kinds of conversations with annoying people.
Right, right.
Which honestly could happen. But here we are. Back to Matt.
Yep.
Not back to Matt, but back to Matt.
Yep.
Matt, Tom, and Noel are heading down to the Tower of Genji. Here we go.
Yeah, and before, like, we got to walk a little bit, so we need to do a little bit of recap here. So if you remember, Matt has some memory issues.
Yeah, because of Cursed Dagger.
Cursed Dagger. He doesn't know if you've been here before, but we did
Feels
see
like
this.
he has, yeah.
Feels a little bit of deja vu happening here. We get another description of the tower. It's like 200 feet tall, big and shiny.
Shiny.
Metal, something, magical, whatever.
No doors.
No doors, crazy, no doors. And then we get a whole bunch of description about not only the clothes that they're wearing, but then Matt's previous experience with the snakes and the foxes.
In case you forgot.
Yes.
It's been a while.
And also the whole Moraine letter, like that's a thing. Like just as a reminder for us, Moraine wrote a letter that talked about all this stuff to Tom.
I remember.
Okay. Interestingly, the entire letter is in the glossary of Towers of Midnight.
Is it?
It is, whole thing. Yeah, they just put the whole thing in there.
Glossary definitions with Brett.
I can read the whole letter if you want.
No, but thanks for letting us know what's in the glossary.
Yeah, easy place to find it.
We haven't
It's
had
right
a
there.
glossary definitions with
There's
Brett.
not really any new glossary definitions.
I bet there are some, you just don't care anymore.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, we'll see.
And, you know, I first read that letter 2 years ago.
That's crazy.
I'm annoyed. Because we were camping.
Yes.
And it was July.
That's true. Yeah.
And now it's June. 2 years later.
Yeah. You know,
Because
that's
I
not...
remember specifically
Yeah.
where I was
Yeah.
when I read Maureen's letter.
Yeah.
It was 2 years ago.
I just want to point out that, like, although 2 years between reading the letter and here seems like a long time for you,
Longer for you?
well, it was, like, you know, between the letter and then
Yeah.
getting the release of this
I
book.
guess that's fair.
So, like, I understand where you're coming from, because
Okay, but all the books are
potentially
released.
I know that. I'm just saying, back in my day.
I probably could have done it in like 2 months, not 2 years.
Yeah.
But I don't care about your day. Did you also
Okay.
have to walk uphill both ways?
With a hot potato in my hand that I ate for lunch, and then I didn't have the hot potato for the cold walk back home. Okay, you know how we're all dressed here? Tom is wearing his Gleeman's clothing, not the Furly Bard outfit, because Tom said it feels like it's what I should be wearing if I'm gonna see her.
Okay,
Aw,
Tom.
it's sweet.
I don't understand it. I mean, I know I've speculated that they're like gonna be in love or something, or like have been in love, or like some like.
There's some definite, like, they're both a little bit older.
Yeah.
They're both witty and wise, and they like to scheme. Metal, right? They're both, attractive people. Just go with it, okay?
Yeah. I want to know more about like the history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Not now, though.
Anyway,
Not
okay,
now.
okay.
No time for that. Okay, let's get to the base of the tower.
Okay, so we get there.
Because we're not just gonna stop here either.
No,
like
we
you said.
get officially
Yeah,
the cover of this book.
we do. This is it. This is the cover.
Like pretty much exactly.
It's a pretty good cover, which is so funny because there's so many covers
There's so many covers that
are
suck.
so not, so not accurate.
This is exactly it.
This is pretty much bang on. Like, yeah, this is the thing. This is it.
3 dudes.
Yeah.
Except, you know what I don't like about this tower
Okay, go.
in this cover?
Sure. What?
I picture it being like completely smooth.
Yeah, it looks like there's stones.
This is like cobblestone-y.
It does look cobblestone-y.
And I think that that's on purpose.
But then it's shiny. Why? Why is that on purpose?
The variation with the cobblestone business, because this could just be like a castle
Sure.
wall or like
Drawing
a...
triangles on all sorts of different
Right.
castle walls. Like maybe it was a different.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's like an intent. Like I think the intent is to make it not be exactly the tower
Sure.
for whatever reason. Because this actually does look like maybe a wall of a city. Like I don't think this looks like a tower.
Okay. Sure.
Because it's all cobblestone looking.
Can we
Move on?
move on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've just made a really big deal out of this Daryl K. Sweet cover.
Yeah, I
art.
know.
And
It's
so,
good.
So here we made it. We made it to the cover.
You know what? There's a bigger version of the book right here.
Yeah, I know that.
Is that better for you?
I don't know, but it's the same. But anyway, here we are. It's a big deal.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do this.
And
No time to waste.
I've never been so happy to be wrong about a prediction.
Okay.
Because my prediction was we're going to get here.
Right.
We're going to open a door.
Yeah.
And then it's going to like be the end of this
Yeah.
book.
Cut off. And...
I really thought like even in this book we wouldn't get into the tower.
For sure.
And
yeah.
the rest of this chapter is not only in this tower.
We're like doing stuff.
We're in here doing stuff.
Yeah, we're like halfway there.
At least.
Halfway there.
At least. I actually
Halfway
think,
done.
I think we're more than halfway at this point. It feels so good.
Okay.
I'm feeling positive.
Which is very dangerous and scary. And you should be very concerned right now if you're feeling positive and good.
At no point during this entire thing was I worried for them.
Okay.
Except a little bit when they're talking to that guy. But
Right.
okay, let's get to it.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm just excited now.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's go through the specifics here for the record.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Of course, this is a me, Geof.
Yeah, I'm not
All right, so
explaining details.
ToM takes his bronze knife. That's really important here. Does the tip, puts
Because
the
it's
tip.
power forged, right? Does that matter?
We have no idea
Or
what
because
it's
it's
made out of.
bronze. You said
Bronze.
it's bronze.
Bronze. What are you talking about is power forged?
The knife.
No, it's just a bronze
It's
knife.
bronze.
Bronze knife.
Okay,
Yes.
I don't care. Go on.
Okay. So, bronze knife puts the tip to the tower and starts to draw the shape of a triangle pointing down, and then finishes it by making the wavy line through the center like you do at the start of any game of Snakes and Foxes.
Of course. And it is also the chapter symbol, like the icon for the snakes and foxes.
Yes, when it comes up, that's what it is.
Would you get that tattooed?
Maybe.
That might be yours.
We'll see. No time for that. You got to
okay.
stay focused here. Holy
Sorry.
wow. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we all wait a second here, and keep in mind there's no mark that's left on the tower by the knife. But then we wait a second, and they're like, did that even work? And then,
Give it a second.
whoa, the center of the triangle vanishes. And we step up to it, and Noel looks through, and it's all dark because he can't see anything. And he's like, we're not going to fit through this tiny little triangle hole.
You know what we have? A toilet paper retrieving hole.
Yeah, we do.
That's the size we have.
And a fox hand comes out and passes a toilet paper roll through
Yeah.
the Yeah. So, I mean, and
It's like mini gateway.
yeah. I like this too because it is, like, you don't know if you actually have to draw the size of portal that you want to go through.
Yeah.
Like, for all we know, it's like, yeah, draw the symbol and then a door will appear. Like, who friggin' knows?
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that he wouldn't immediately draw like a gigantic triangle. He just like does the symbol and it's like, okay, well, I guess do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So then he does like an actual people-sized triangle, does the wavy line, and then a triangular corridor opens up leading into the tower.
Okay.
Yeah,
I hate to do this to us,
right.
but I'm super glad that we didn't have to cut our palm open and wipe it on the tower
What does that have to do?
to
What are you talking
open a
about?
doorway.
What is that from? Oh, is that from Harry Potter?
Yeah.
What did they have to wipe blood on?
The wall.
To do what?
They have to weaken themselves to enter to get the Horcrux from the place.
Oh.
From the cave by the sea.
Okay. Yeah, you did it.
Yeah, I did it.
All right.
And I
Well,
feel like we've talked about this before.
yeah, I feel like the weakening
is-
yourself thing is a thing, right?
Well, we've also talked about maybe with portal stones or with waygates in some way.
Maybe.
We've made this reference before. Or
Okay.
I've made this reference before, but this one really feels relevant.
Mhm.
So I'm glad
Not that.
we don't have to
Just do the symbol.
bleed onto
Yeah.
just the symbol.
Draw the sign. So let me just finish this point here.
'Kay.
And then we'll get some shots.
Okay.
So ToM says, and so we begin the game that cannot be won. And then Noel says the lines from the game: courage to strengthen, fire to blind, music to dazzle, iron to bind. And Matt adds, and Matrim Cawthon to bloody even the odds.
Which I love. Yes.
Yeah, let's even the odds. I love it. It's a pretty cool scene. Like this is really cool. Now
Very cinematic.
my whole question is like, okay, actually I'll do the question after we get the shots. Let's do that first, because then I'll
Okay.
talk while you're.
What are we
suffering.
going to drink? We're finished the vodka.
Whiskey.
Ugh. Okay, we're back. And when I got these shots, I just checked on my sourdough starter.
Ooh.
I was worried that I killed her.
Oh, is she okay?
Did not. Betty's
Okay.
alive.
All right, phew.
Alive and well.
Right, and then you just added some peach syrup to this whiskey.
Yes.
And you're like, this is peach whiskey.
Yeah.
Eh.
It's better than just whiskey. So
We'll see. Okay, cheers to.
not cutting our palms open.
All right,
And
cheers to that.
Smearing it on the Tower of Genji. No.
That was worse.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
That made it worse somehow. Okay, you know what's funny?
I feel like Will Ferrell in Elf.
Oh yeah. Okay. So here's a funny thing to think about. So the symbol for the tower is an
Yeah.
upside down triangle,
Yes, it is.
and then a triangular corridor opens up. But the funny thing is,
I see where you're going with
You
this.
see where I'm going? So do this with your fingers to make it upside down triangle.
I see what you're doing.
So as they step through the portal, they just like instantaneously go through. They don't have to like walk through a triangular corridor.
That's the second time you said instantaneously this
Nice.
episode.
Okay, well, that's a good word. So, but I like to, because I like to imagine that they don't like instantaneously portal to the other side. I like to imagine that they have to walk on this upside down triangle corridor, all funny and wonky, to get through.
Well, it would almost be like they have to walk in single file and can put their hands on the side and almost do like balance beam style.
Maybe, yeah.
That's what I picture.
It's
like
a funny, thing.
If it's the bottom,
yeah, because you're walking on the point, not on the flat part of the triangle.
you're not exactly.
Yeah.
Because
it's funny.
because the corridor is described as triangle shaped.
Yeah, it's funny to me.
And it wouldn't just all of a sudden be triangle shaped the different way.
Right, because that'd be crazy. That would be crazy.
No, I think you're exactly right.
Okay.
I think exactly. We gotta walk down a corridor
Right.
of an upside down triangle.
Okay, so Matt steps through, and then the light blinds him, and he can't see, and he doesn't have to stumble down a triangular corridor.
I wish that he did.
Me too. But then he like shuts his eyes, and at first like he's a little bit nervous because what if we're getting attacked and I can't see anything?
Absolutely.
But nothing happens. He's in the center of an oddly shaped square room. Like none of the edges are like even. Like it's not an even square. There's a word for it.
Wait.
Like
Hold on.
yeah, it's like a weird shaped room.
I just need to like read what you're talking about.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Now, when you were talking about the corridor, in my mind, I couldn't remember exactly what happened when they get in, if they had to walk down a hallway and then get to a room or whatever.
Yeah.
So the fact is they carve the triangle,
Right.
which opens to a triangular corridor leading into the tower.
Yes. Yeah.
And the corridor disappeared into darkness. The sunlight seemed hesitant to enter the opening, though it was probably just a trick of the light.
Yeah. So they can't see. They don't have to walk down this tunnel into the tower.
At no point do they actually have to walk down.
That's what I was saying.
Okay, I thought...
That's why I was
don't
saying
know.
it would be funny to imagine having to walk down this really long
I see.
triangular. They
No,
He
you
steps through
confused my brain a lot, actually.
He steps across the barrier and is teleported, if you will,
into a room.
into the middle of a room that is square-shaped.
Yeah, so they
And
were maybe anticipating
Yeah.
having to walk down a triangular-shaped corridor.
And then the triangular opening is behind Matt in the middle of this oddly shaped square room.
Yeah, you also missed saying the best line, I think.
What?
And so we begin the game that cannot be won.
I didn't miss saying that. I did say that. That was one of the things that I said.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh my god.
Okay. But I said it because it's a great line. And you can
It's
say
a
it again.
great line.
Yeah.
I thought you just said the...
That's the precursor to the Noel saying,
Yeah.
and then Matt saying, and Matt...
Oh, man. I
coughing the
really don't
bloody
listen
even
to
odds.
everything you say, hey?
You really don't. Are you just getting that now?
Yeah, I had no memory of you saying that.
That's what I've been saying. I've been saying that. Okay. All right. So Matt's here, and this place is not like the first place he entered with the circular doorways. It's not like the second place he went through with the star-shaped rooms, right?
Nah.
This is entirely different. And then ToM comes through.
Because we didn't go through the doorways.
Yeah, this is a different way.
It's a different way. It's a different place.
Yes, which also leads to an interesting question I'm going to have in a second here.
Okay.
Or thought. But ToM comes through, and then Noel comes through, and then they have this whole back and forth where it's like, can we go back? Can we exit from this entrance?
And I like how they test it out.
It's smart. It's sort of smart.
It's like medium smart.
It's medium smart, and this is why I'm thinking this is medium smart.
It's only medium smart because it works. Like, it's smart because it works out.
Yes.
And now they know.
Yeah, so Noel leaves, and then he comes back a little while later through the same portal. But it's like, who's to say that him going out and then recarving a new triangle
would lead to the exact same room.
It could go to like anywhere for all we know.
And the fact that they're like, let's try it.
Yeah,
well,
it's
who
like,
knows now where Noel even went?
Maybe that's why you need 3 people, because one person's gonna friggin'...
I kind of thought.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
It is kind of...
You need lots of children to come with you to use them as...
Because you need one at the end.
You need one at the end to make it.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
One's going to turn into a blueberry.
Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, they do the back and forth thing. It works. And it doesn't, so the doorway...
Feels convenient.
Well, the doorway doesn't disappear. Like, the doorway at no point in this scene, the doorway that on
It's
the
still
inside,
there.
it's still there. It's always there. So it seems like this is the entrance to the Tower of Genji on this side of the world, from what we can tell with our 2 attempts.
And with our, like, 2 sentences
Yeah.
of explanation about
Exactly.
this.
And
Okay.
then nothing else. So they're like, okay.
I don't think we should overanalyze it.
Sure.
I think we should move on.
You don't think we should overanalyze this? This is the part we should move on from? Okay.
Ugh, it's
All right.
just, it's annoying because it feels like it's convenient for the plot that this just works out this way.
Well, it works out until like the next page because at first they're like, well, I guess we have a way to escape. And then Matt thinks, I think it's Matt, like assuming that the Eilfin and Eilfin don't move it as soon as we leave this room, which doesn't necessarily happen. This may always be in one place.
It's just how do we get back to
how do
this
you get back to
room?
this specific room? That's
Okay,
the
fine.
thing.
Yeah, no, it does. It does.
Okay.
It does.
All right, so now we can continue because there's 4 corridors to go through and Matt just starts walking down one
Yeah, wait. How do they figure out that there's 4 to go through?
because it's a square and there's one hallway down each of the sides of the wall.
Okay.
What do you mean, how do they figure that out? They're in a square-shaped room,
Yeah.
and on each one of the walls, there's a corridor.
Okay.
There's a hallway.
I'm gonna need a diagram.
Imagine, if you will, a box.
No, I get it.
There's a
I just
hallway.
mean for like the rest of everything that happens. And then they just like choose one?
Yeah, Matt just randomly picks. He just starts walking down one at the beginning.
Okay.
And he's like, yeah, this is the one I'm choosing. Noel thinks, wow, all of this in a single tower. And Matt says, I don't think we're inside the tower, man.
This is a portal world.
This is another dimension.
Yeah.
This ain't, Kansas anymore.
And then Noel says a bunch of fishy things that for sure makes him Jane Farstrider.
Why?
Because he just keeps on saying things like, in all my travels, I've seen a million things,
Well, he
and
does
I've
say
never
it's-
seen this.
He does say things like
He,
that.
he says like, I've traveled everywhere and seen everything.
Far and wide.
Yeah. I've been on crazy adventures and I've never seen this.
Yeah.
Like he's so Jane Farstrider.
But then what about when he says, I wish I had written them down? What about when he says that? He didn't say that. I'm fucking with you.
Misdirect.
He didn't say that.
Yeah. Actually, I would have believed you if you said that.
Too bad I didn't make this into a book or something.
Yeah.
And then
it's
profit
just
off of
like,
the book
it's
sales.
just like when I wrote that book
Yeah.
of all my travels.
Right. Is he still getting a cut of that then?
I don't know if royalties work the same.
That's
in
how he
Ranmon.
makes. That's how he has money for all these fancy new shirts and staffs and stuff.
He certainly knows a lot of things.
Knows a lot of things.
That Jane Farstrider.
Okay, we gotta keep moving. We gotta keep pushing through.
Oh,
here.
now we have to keep moving?
Now we gotta keep pushing through. So Matt's like, okay, this isn't the same place. And then they get to one of those weird windows and they look out at the landscape and they
When
seem
you say weird, they're circles. They're circle windows.
the window isn't the weird part. The outside weird vegetation from
It's
the
like-
alien world is the weird stuff.
It's like we're on a cruise ship.
Well, they're in a
and
big
we have-
tower on an alternate dimension world.
And we have circle windows.
And the bananas on these trees look different than the bananas in my world. I don't know. There's some weird fruit or something like
you know
that.
what I picture?
What?
I pictured this the first time Matt went through the
Was
doorway.
it the Lorax or something?
It is the Lorax.
Yeah.
Have I said that before?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like the funny
Very
looking
much.
trees and stuff.
And not like the Lorax, the cute film, like the Lorax, the book.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not as cute and
Right.
whimsical.
Right.
It's like kind of creepy.
Existential
Yes.
horror. Yeah.
Yeah, like an original Seuss,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some cosmic dread. Okay. So, yeah. So they can tell they're up in a spire, and this is where Matt remembers on like his previous trip when he saw 3 spires in the distance on his first trip, and then he saw these plants and vegetation from like below, but now he's seen them from above, and then he has this moment of clarity,
like, "Oh, I'm
man,
in it."
I'm in here, because when you went through the doorways, you went to a different place, and when you come through the Tower of Genji,
You go to a different place.
come to a different place. Yeah, like this word, yeah. And we also have like some weird steam stuff happening in the rooms. It doesn't really do anything like nothing really becomes of it. Like there's like steam, and then like it goes around the fire and flames they got, and it's like,
Oh, I really thought that was going to be a thing.
it doesn't seem like it's a thing right now.
It might be a thing,
Might be a
though,
thing later, so like let's note it.
because we got to use it.
Right.
Don't they use it?
Well, not like the weird smoke steam
Yeah, they
stuff.
do. I thought they did. I
How
thought
do
they
they
like
use
lit
it?
the guy on fire.
They do not light anybody on fire.
Did I just did I just think that maybe they should?
They play him a lullaby and he goes to
Oh
sleep.
right, he does do that. Oh, which
I
is,
always confuse the two. Which was it? Do I sing a lullaby or do I light you on fire? Which is it do you want?
I really thought maybe they were gonna like light things on fire.
This is why I do bedtime in our house because like,
Oh, that's so funny.
okay. So I they don't light anyone on fire.
No, I think I pictured them using this as a weapon.
I just want to be in your brain for like reading one chapter of these books. Like, wow.
Okay, wait.
Very exciting
does the
stuff
weird
happens.
gassy steam make more fire or put their fire out?
Neither.
What does it
like
do?
goes around the fire
Yeah.
and doesn't touch it.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing happens.
Okay, I felt like we could use it in some
And
way.
then Tom's like, and Noel are like, whoa, and Matt's like, yeah, it's weird.
because we need fire to blind.
Yeah. So we have courage to strengthen, fire to blind, music to dazzle, iron to bind.
I never would have said dazzle in a million. If you would have said
Yeah.
that whole thing and left out the word
Yeah.
like what does music do?
Yeah.
I
Never dazzle.
never would have said the word dazzle.
Music to light you on fire.
Because it doesn't
Yeah.
rhyme with strength. It doesn't rhyme.
Sure.
Because I know blind and bind
Sure.
and courage to strengthen is the first one.
You're
So
you're just saying words now.
No, I never would have said dazzle. I
Okay.
feel like you just
Okay.
made that up. Like,
No.
there's no way. Like, I don't believe it.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Okay.
All right. So now we're going to keep going because we have to go through this hallway. And as they continue down the hallway, we have Matt feeling like he's being watched because he felt that on the previous visits.
Ugh,
It's kind of like
it's
Telerenrad.
the worst feeling.
You want to know why you feel like you're being watched?
Because you're being watched?
Because you're being watched. And then he catches motion from behind and he spins around, but there's nothing there. And then Tom does the same thing, but actually like whips a knife, but like hits nothing. And he's like a little embarrassed, but it's also like we're in this crazy alien
It's crazy
world
here,
with
guys.
things are gonna try to eat you probably.
Yep, definitely.
So yeah, let's be cautious here.
Okay.
So we make it to the end of the hallway into a chamber that's identical to the first, except there's no doorway in the middle here, and it also splits off into 4 directions.
Maze.
So it's like, well, yeah, but it's like every
Labyrinth.
square room has 4 hallways, 4 more hallways. Any
more
which way you
hallways.
go, there's four ways to go.
Yeah.
So they pick another one at random here and head down that one until they get to another room that's exactly the same. So they've really only been in 3 rooms,
Yes.
gone down like 2 hallways.
Yep, okay, yep.
And then Noel pulls out some paper and he's like, man, we got to make a map here so we don't get lost. Makes sense.
Totally. If we were in normal land.
If we were in normal land, this would be a good way.
We are in Bizarro World. We are
Yes.
not in normal land.
We are not. Yeah, exactly. So then Matt thinks, okay, I need to see if what I think is real, or what do I think is going to happen is actually what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So he goes back the way they just came, boom, bang, bong, and gets back to where they came in because it's really
this
only...
is another one of those
Yeah.
things where it's medium smart.
Yeah.
And it's only remotely smart because it ends up working out in their favor.
Because Matt has the luck, but like
Yeah.
you retraced your steps, but you actually didn't because it has taken you to a different place. Magical labyrinth, not just a regular labyrinth.
Well, I'm pretty sure the mystical labyrinth is also
like with the Minotaur.
yeah. It's
Is-
just a maze.
It's a maze.
I
Yeah.
thought it was magical too.
I don't think it's magical.
Maybe in Percy Jackson it is.
Maybe. Pretty sure it was just like a maze with like a Minotaur in the middle that would eat you and stuff. Yeah. Anyways, not important. What's important here is they make it back to where they came from, and it's empty. There's no doorway.
It's a different room.
It's a different room. It's not that the doorway disappeared. It's that it's a different room.
And it could be that the doorway disappeared.
Yeah, but it's not.
I know that.
It's
I know
like-
that.
I know that, but it's like it's not that. Like we got to figure out based on everything that happens next. It's not that.
Well, I know, but it could be.
Yeah. So then there's faint laughter in the distance.
Like
exactly like that. That's what I always imagined. Tee. Okay. So the
Well, I
map.
could do lots of different laughing for
Yeah.
the background.
you want to do more? Do the hyenas from Lion King go?
I don't know.
Okay. So now we get like a little
No
side.
king, no king, la 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 la.
Okay. I love it. Okay.
Do you? It seems like you're kind of annoyed with me.
I'm trying to push through here. I'm trying to get to some of the good stuff, and you're just like doing different laughs right now.
That's just my laugh.
Yeah.
That's a regular one.
That's a regular one. Okay. So Map ain't going to help. And Matt takes this as an opportunity to ask ToM, because, like, why the heck wouldn't we ask this before we came in here? We've been doing nothing for so long. He's like, hey, ToM, do you know any stories about Brigida and her visit to the Tower of Genjok?
Yeah, shouldn't we have done that before?
Do any research.
Well, that was him doing research. He asked Brigida.
Yeah.
He got the information.
Yeah, and she was like, yeah, you're going to die in there because I died in there.
And we didn't want to ask ToM what he knows about this place or about the story of Brigida.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Okay. So Matt asks if he knows about a story about a woman trapped for 2 months in a maze of corridors and in a fortress. And then ToM's like, well,
don't know that one.
There is a tale of Elmira and the Shadow Eyes. And
oh, sorry. You're skipping ahead.
Well, a little bit, but.
Yeah. Because he's like, well, do you know this story? And ToM's like, nope, never heard of it. And then Matt's like, well, what about one like this? And he like changes it slightly. And he's like, nope, never heard of that.
Yeah.
And he's like, what about someone trying to save their lover?
Yeah. What about this one? Here we go.
Like, sort of.
Sort of. Close. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she spent 100 days wandering in a maze looking for the infamous healing spring of Sund to save her lover's life. And Matt thinks that's probably it, because the story Brigida told was she was trying to save Guidal Kane, and then they died. And then in this story, she died at the end, only 2 steps away from the fountain, but separated from it by a wall. And it was the last sound she heard before dying of thirst. And it's like, okay, that's not great, because we are allegedly in the exact same place. Mm-hmm. So, yes, that's where we are.
Now we're going to tell ToM, whoa, well, turns out.
Shoot.
Yeah.
But good thing we are Matt Coffin. So, now we have the eelfin.
Yeah, because a voice is like, hey, listen, you broke the bargain.
Right.
And they all spin around, weapons up.
Yeah, and there's just one of the eelfin here. So one of the fox creatures. So as a recall here, so the first time Matt went through from Tyr, it was the eelfin, the snakes, who answer questions. The second time was in Ruidian, the eelfin, the foxes, who like wear the skin suits, who grant wishes, basically. And we're going to talk a little bit about the bargain here in this chapter, because Matt says there is no bargain this way. We can bring whatever we want. Okay. So if you remember, we have learned that going through the doorways grants you some sort of protection, because they will bring you to the Chamber of Bonds, because if you can make it there, they have to make a deal with you. So it's like that, getting to that step is what going through the doorways gives you protection from. You have to make a deal. Then it's up to you as to whether or not you're going to make a good deal and like get out alive.
And it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, those doorways are somehow power wrought.
Yeah.
In some ways, because they're terangrial.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Or at least we think they are.
Yeah.
And so someone a really long time ago figured out how to create and maintain an open doorway to these places.
Right.
But the way that Matt has come in here, there's nothing.
This is
there's
like
no deal, no bargain.
There's no deal, no protection. You don't automatically get brought to the Chamber of Bonds, so you have to find your way here to make a proper deal. But then also, since there is no bargain, like it's maybe
all bets are off.
All bets are off, but maybe in a good way for you. Like maybe you can get more out of it because there are no rules.
Or maybe in a bad way for you.
Or maybe in a bad way.
Because there are no rules.
Yeah, because you can bring all these things. So now we get into this like negotiation, because the eelfin says, hey, not having a bargain is dangerous for you. But fortunately, I can take you where you want. And then the eelfin says, leave your iron, leave your music, leave your fire. And Matt says,
never.
No.
Good. I'm glad. I was like, yeah, no, don't. That's how you do it. Because I'm such a believer right now. Like, we're in here, we're doing this. I didn't even think we were going to get at this book.
Right.
And I've been predicting what this is going to be for so long.
Right.
And some things I've said is, the only thing I know about this place is that to win, you have to cheat.
Right.
You have to.
Yeah, you got to break the rules.
That's the only rule I know about this entire thing. And so I was like, don't you dare put that stuff away. Don't you dare. You need it to cheat.
Well, it's kind of interesting, too, because the eelfin, he starts to negotiate, or it starts to negotiate even more, and it says, well, let's be civil. We can grant you what you want and what you need. You got to show some good faith here. Leave your fire behind, just that, and then I promise I'll lead you for a time.
I feel like
it's like, man, for
I
a
feel
time,
like
what does that
this
mean?
is where I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
He knows the fire's the most dangerous because of this gas stuff.
Because you're going to light them on fire.
Or use it in some way.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know, you know?
Yeah, well, it says it offends them, like the fire offends them, because he really does try a few times to get Matt and crew to lead the fire only, and he doesn't really...
I know, that's why I was like, ooh, that's the one we need to hold on to most.
Yeah, but it's like, you're going to lead me for a time. What does that mean? Like, you're going to lead me through, like, 3 passages? Like, what is that going to help
I'll be
here?
just as lost.
Yeah, it is
if
terrible.
not more. Like, you're going to lead me even further away.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So then Matt calls out to ToM, and he's like, hey, like, start playing the music, because Matt can feel the voice is, like, on some sort of, like, resonance that is dazzling him.
Okay.
A little bit, right? So we got to break that.
Dazzling.
We got to break that dazzle with a little razzle
Razzle-dazzle.
dazzle.
Yeah, okay. Mhm.
Matt starts playing the music, pulls out his flute, and that seems to break Matt out of the haze.
ToM starts playing the music.
So ToM starts playing the
Yeah.
music. It breaks Matt out of the like brain fog that he's having here from the Eilfin.
You know what this reminds me of? Tuon and Rand's conversation.
Oh yeah.
When Tuon like broke out of
Like trying to shake yourself
Rand's
out of it. Yeah.
Taviran pull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then Matt says, like, we're not leaving anything, not unless you promise to take us all the way to the central chamber and give us back Moraine. And even that is like, I still wouldn't make that bargain, because then you're in the middle of this place with
Yeah.
Moraine, and then what? Then what do you do? But then it says, well, I can't make that bargain, but then agrees to lead them half of the way to the central chamber, called the Chamber of Bonds, right? That's the important part.
Okay.
If they leave the fire behind. And again, it's really focusing on this fire here.
Right. But then with the music going, and then Matt starts singing.
Yeah, in the old tongue, of course, as he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they put the Eilfin to sleep. It like circles up and he's out. There you go. So it's good.
People will yell at us if we don't do a reference.
For what? There's another Harry Potter reference with this one?
Yeah, you know it. I feel like you're avoiding it on purpose.
I'm actually not. So singing and playing music.
Playing a flute.
Oh, the dog.
Yeah.
The dog. Hold on. Fluffy.
Yeah.
Fluffy.
The chupacabra. What's it called? The actual chimera?
That's not a chimera.
The 3-headed dog.
Yeah, Spot. From the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Cerebus.
Cerebus. That's
Yeah.
the one.
Which in like ancient Greek or whatever means spot, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like the dog's name is Spot. I'm pretty
oh,
sure
I didn't know
that's
that.
a thing.
Okay, well, in Harry
Yeah.
Potter, its name is Fluffy.
Yeah.
And it's a 3-headed
Yeah.
English Mastiff.
Yeah, there you go. That's the thing. You got to play music to put it to sleep.
But you gotta play music to put it to sleep so that you can get past it. I don't want whiskey again.
Okay, yeah, with Peach.
Definitely not. Let me go see what else we have.
Oh, okay. Apparently, not definitely established that Cerebus's name means spotted. It's not definitively established. I like it, but there is some Proto-Indo-European root that may mean spotted. So there's some connection, but it's not universally accepted.
Which means I don't accept it.
Which means I do accept it. If I get one person to come even close,
I
yeah,
think it's dumb. Okay.
that's what it means. That's great. That's so funny.
What if it wasn't spotted?
Well, no, it's like naming your dog Spot.
No, I get that.
Maybe he had a big spot on him. I don't
But
know.
well, I'm saying maybe he didn't.
Maybe he didn't. Go get shots.
Okay, not whiskey.
No.
And you get the cherry brandy.
Yeah.
I don't want that because I feel like it's going to taste like cherry cough syrup.
It does look like that a little bit.
I definitely don't want
Smells
that.
like it a little bit too.
I opted for limoncello.
So there you go. We're digging into the. I think we need to get stuck up a little bit. On
Real
something.
good stuff. It's been a long time since we've done 3 references and genuine real references
Okay, yeah, that's true.
that just come supernaturally.
What a chapter for it.
Cheers.
Okay,
Add it to the criterion.
to putting the bad guy to sleep with your music. That's so sweet. Okay.
Yeah. Ugh, that's so lemony. Ugh.
All right.
It's like a big bite of like lemon meringue pie, but without any of the like good stuff, like whipped cream and stuff.
All right. So, a couple things we need to
Yeah.
recap here because Matt is doing some thinking on stuff.
No, Matt
Yeah,
doesn't
he
do
is.
that.
Yeah.
I know, it's great.
So we got to make it to the Chamber of Bonds because then they have to bargain with you.
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks about Moraine's situation. So Moraine did come through a doorway. So technically, you would think she would have been protected by the treaty or the bargain where she has to be able to be brought to the chamber.
Except the problem is...
Yeah.
Okay, wait, what's the problem? Let me think for a second.
Okay.
I know there's a problem.
Yeah.
She goes through the doorway,
Mm-hmm.
And is it the same one she already went through?
No, that was the one in Tyr, and she went through the same one that Matt went through, because it was on the supply train.
From Kyrian, from Ruidian.
Yeah.
Okay, so allegedly it's not one she's been in before.
Yeah.
The main problem is it got destroyed.
That's one of the problems. So it got destroyed.
That's the problem. Okay, so it got destroyed, so she has no way technically out from the same way she went in.
Yes. So Matt thinks about his trip because the Eelfinn praised him for being wise, for thinking to ask for leave taking. So on his trip out, like with Matt's trip into the Eelfinn, he specifically asked for a way out, right? He asked for his memory to be filled. He asked for a way to be free of the Aes Sedai, and he asked for a way out of the tower. Now, he can't remember how he got out of the tower because he woke up hanged from the Ashendari, from the Tree of Life. Mm-hmm. But if Moiraine didn't know to ask for passage out, or if she did, but the doorway was destroyed, like, she's kind of hooped, right? Mm-hmm. Like, there's a lot of things that could have gone wrong with her getting out.
Yeah.
And we don't know what condition she may or may not be in, because also we've got Lanfear who came in and
got out somehow. But the theory was that she died and she's
well, yeah, exactly.
Transmigrated.
Exactly, because she's Sindane now. It's like she's in a different body, which happens from death, from what we know.
From what we know.
Right.
So. Okay. That one's still a bit of a mystery, but I still feel as though.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
Now, are we going to talk about the fact that Noel clocks the fact that Matt was talking in the old tongue with the Eelfinn the whole time? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And he's like, my old tongue is rusty.
But wow, you're pretty good at it, man.
Yeah, I had no idea you were fluent in the old tongue.
Matt always pulls that out. It's a pretty cool part.
No, I know that. And that's cool for us to know as the reader that he's doing this thing that he didn't even realize.
Yeah.
But a little suspicious that Noel is just like, oh yeah, I totally know the old tongue.
He knows some. It's rusty. There's a lot of people who know a little bit at least. Mm-mm. Yeah. Okay. So now we get to the part where Matt is gonna pull something out of his pocket.
Dice.
Yes. Because he knows that even though the rules don't make sense to us, the Eelfinn and Eelfinn have to be able to get around in this place. So that means that there is some sort of correct path to get to where they want to be.
Yeah.
They just need to find the right way to take it.
I know. And I like it because Noel says, oh man, 4 choices followed by 4 choices followed by 4 choices. The odds are against us.
Yeah.
And Matt says, odds? What do I care for odds?
I love it. Yeah. So then he does the explanation. He holds up his 2 little dice, and we got 12 pips total, 3 for each doorway. So we're going to roll, and then we're going to go down that hallway. That's how we're going to decide. And then Noel argues.
Like, no.
Math doesn't check out.
Logic says that we can't roll a 1
mm-hmm. Yep.
with 2 dice. And so...
And 7's way more likely to turn up.
Right, because of statistics.
So again, doesn't check out, man.
Now, theoretical statistics is going to be different than experimental statistics.
Wow. Good one, okay. Because then he does it. He rolls the dice, and then one of them is a 1.
Sideways
and then one's like sideways with the corner of the air, and Tom's like, well, look at that, man.
That's
I guess
a 1.
That looks like a 1 to me. So we're in this room, and then we go straight ahead down the hallway, because if it's like 1, 2, 3 are straight ahead, 4, 5, 6 are to the right, 7, 8, 9 behind, 10, 11, 12 to the left.
Sure.
We're going straight.
Okay.
We get to the next intersection. Matt rolls again, and it's a 9, which means...
Back the way we came.
And then they do that.
And Noel, he's just like such an argumentative...
Andy.
Arnold. Yeah. Like, just like, quit it.
He does.
This is what we're doing.
Okay,
relax.
But how much experience does he really have with Matt's crazy luck?
Oh,
like, ToM's been through it.
You know what? No, that's not... I'm just reading it. ToM says, back the way we came?
Oh, yeah. Well, at first, I mean, that does seem pretty crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry to ToM. I just don't like Noel. Okay?
Yeah. Okay, fair. Yeah. All right. So then we go back that way, and then Matt rolls the dice again, and it's another 9, which means we're going back the way we came just again.
Yeah.
There we go. Back and forth, back and forth.
Except, hold on. We might awaken the Eelfinn.
Yeah.
Who we just left in that room.
Yeah, he's not there anymore.
No, it's just a different room.
Right, because you're like, oh, what if he got dragged off or something or woken up? Anyways, different room. So then we do it again. We toss the dice, and it's another 9.
Yeah.
And then Noel, now he's being a negative Nancy.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is foolish. We're running back and forth. And then they go down this like one really long hall, and they burst out into a new room. It's new. It's different.
Yeah, and then Matt's just like, listen, there have to be rules here. They have to be consistent, but they don't need to follow our logic. This is a different realm.
Yeah, back and forth makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are in the room with the white floor and enormous black columns rising up to the ceiling far above.
It's way different. It's lit by glowing yellow stripes. We haven't seen that before.
Yeah, so like we're halfway there. We're halfway done, I guess.
And like, why do we come to that conclusion?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they say we're halfway there, but like this is different.
It feels halfway to you?
Yeah, well, at least we're on. So Matt says we've been here before, or I've been here before. We're on track. If Maureen still lives, then she's going to be somewhere past here. So like, let's go do this thing. Okay. So yeah, we get here. We are doing well so far, which either is good or it's going to start going terribly for us.
Yeah, if Maureen still lives, then she'll be somewhere this way.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Here we go.
This is very exciting.
Love it.
And now we can only keep going. Like, this doesn't feel like your typical cliffhanger.
Sure.
For the, you know?
Well, maybe it's like it's the end of a book or something.
No. I'm saying it doesn't feel like that.
Okay.
I think we're going to keep going.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
Okay.
I'm excited.
All right. Okay, so next episode.
Yep.
2 chapters, likely having a guest.
Okay.
So we'll see.
I'm excited. This is exciting. This is like a race to the finish. Now, before you go ahead and actually enter the Tower of Genji after all of this time and planning, I'm going to say that it's part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Hey, thanks so much for sticking around. That's the end of another fun episode. The Wheel Weaves is hosted and edited by Dani and Brett and produced by Dani and Brett with Passion Socks, Cody Feltz, Benjamin, Jamie Young, Megan, Jared Berg, Ricky Morissette, Adam, Mozyme, Michelle Forbes, MKM, Antoine Benoit, Lawrence Bradley, Colby T, Gabby Young, Rycat, Zane Sayaka, Matrix, Matt Truss, The Albatross, Bratimus Prime, Sarah Creech, Sims, and Saverio Bartolini. With music by Audionautics. Now, everyone, please be sure to go check out our Patreon page if you are interested in supporting us and the podcast. We'd love to send you some Patreon-exclusive merchandise as a thank you, plus you'll gain access to our episodes earlier than everyone else. And, at the time of recording, we have almost 50 bonus episodes for your listening pleasure. Find all that and more at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. As always, please be sure to give us a 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference in helping other people find us. And be sure to tell a friend, Riyadh, because referrals really are the best compliment. For general information about our show, like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, and how to get in touch with us, visit thewheelweavespodcast.com. Thanks again for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.